A student asks, she's not a Hindu, how should she approach the Bhagavad Gita? The fact of the matter is, every single text is a product of its own time, its own culture. Everything is determined in its own history. But we should not circumscribe what is universal based on its origins. What are the universal traits that are applicable to you today? What are the aspects that are applicable to the globe today? And what is it that the book conveys that we can learn and improve our life? That, I think, should be your approach to encounter the Bhagavad Gita. And not just the Bhagavad Gita, any other text. Everything is a cultural product. And if something is part of your culture, may not be part of another's culture, and vice versa. We should not stop learning from each other. If we think that way, what about the food? What about music? And what about our relations? So now there comes the big question of what is it that I believe is so universal in the Bhagavad Gita? The first and foremost is, what am I ought to do? What is my duty? What is my obligation in this world? Because the fact of the matter is, nothing seems to be going just the way I wanted or as one individual wants. The collective has as if its own mind, and we are just thrown into the turmoil that is decided by the other. And at times it is frustrating and people get disheartened, people become vicious or negative, and they abandon their duty. But how shall we proceed? That's one thing for us to learn from the Bhagavad Gita. Most importantly, death is something that we cannot avoid. We can mask our annihilation. We can pretend that we are eternal. We can wage wars, make love, and try to forget that we are mortals. But death is always haunting us. How to confront the idea of death and how to deal with the loss, that is something we can learn from the Bhagavad Gita. No matter what we do, we all are driven by the whirlwind of real life circumstances. How can we attain equanimity, maintain stillness of the mind, have the balanced mind? That is something we can learn from the Bhagavad Gita. What is it that I am ought to do? What is it that I can realize about myself, and am I still bound by some obligations, some duties, even when I get this realization of myself? This is something you can extract from the Bhagavad Gita. Our body and our mind are universally made within the same fabric, the same soil. We all have similar anxieties and aspirations, dreams and fantasies, and we all have the same emotions. How to deal with our own mind? What is it that I'm supposed to do to stay one-pointed, focused, goal-oriented, and still and calm? This is something useful for everybody, no matter what deity you worship or you do not worship any deity at all. There is this perception of discarding the nature, considering it subordinate to our own human being. But what we need today is a perception in which we are interlinked, interrelated, and coexisting. So for that we need a higher gaze, that our reality that circumscribes us is the presence of something higher than just our own ego, our own individuality, and to see the presence of this higher entity. You may call that the divine, you may call that the collective, you may call that the nature. It really doesn't matter. But that totality is out there that we as individuals confront all the time, and how to transcend this individuality that is thrown into us in the turmoil of everyday life. That is also a perpetual problem for the humanity, and we can learn a thing or two from the Bhagavad Gita. We all are driven by the natural instincts and the traits. Sometimes we want to learn, we have positive thoughts, positive mind. Other times we are agitated, and sometimes our mind is just passive and driven towards darkness and deep sleep. And all these different tendencies of the mind, how to recognize and how to cultivate the positive mind, this is also something that applies to everybody, no matter which culture you come from. Believing in the law of karma, that you do good and good will come, is not something that only a few people should believe in. But more than that, we should not be attached to what we do and wait for its reward, and then the reward comes and get so excited, because that is conditioning. That counters our freedom to act. When we are able to act independently of whether we get what we anticipated or not, we become free subjects, because our actions are then not guided by immediate reward. We become better than Pavlov's dog, and that is what the Bhagavad Gita teaches, that we should not determine our actions simply guided by the immediate reward, because action itself becomes the reward when you attune yourself with what you do. And this is also something to learn from the Bhagavad Gita. All the individuals do act. It is our necessity to be active in life. But in active life, we make mistakes. We are guided by ego. We are guided by delusions. And how to be mindful that my actions are pure, not guided by my ego, not guided by delusion. That is something we can learn from the Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, we need to take these texts above the parameters of a culture, of individual, of time, of place, and learn what we can extract and make our own life meaningful and have some guidance, a torchlight for us to make our life easy. Thank you.